Hi, I'm John Powers, the Executive Director of the Aesthetic Business Institute. Welcome to ABI's Top 10 webinar series on profit-boosting strategies for your aesthetic medical practice. The following webinar, the Top 10 Business-Boosting Strategies for Your Aesthetic Medical Practice, features Francis Acunzo, the CEO of Akara Partners and the Chairman of the Aesthetic Business Institute. Fran and his wife and business partner, Colleen, founded the medical spa movement in the United States and have decades of experience building highly successful businesses. Enjoy this presentation and don't forget to check out the rest of aestheticbusinessinstitute.org for more industry knowledge in order to build and grow your business.
Hello, this is Francis Acunzo, the CEO of Akara Partners and Reach Beyond Marketing. I'm here today to talk to you about the top 10 business boosting strategies for your aesthetic medical practice or med spa. Now, these best practices will help you to boost your sales and, of course, profits. I'm going to go through 10, as I just mentioned, but these 10 are not in any given order. All 10 are very important, and you should be implementing all 10 of these best practices. The first one is a bi-monthly marketing plan. Every 2 months, you should create a marketing plan for a period of 2 months and do this about 30 days in advance. What's great about that, if you start with like January, February, you have automatic seasonality built in. So January, February is the new year promotions. March, April, well, get ready for summer or spring promotions. May, June, getting into the summer. July, August, obviously summer promotions. September, October, back to school in most parts of the country. And November and December is all about that holiday season. All right, you want to make sure with your plan that you have clearly defined strategies and tactics. You want to make sure you develop a promotions plan. So you have a set of promotions that will help generate excitement, excite the audience, give a sense of urgency to buy now, not later. So buy this package or promo before the month ends. You also want to have a detailed marketing budget. You want to identify what you're going to spend. Now, we recommend that most likely you will spend between 10 and 20% of what your goal is. So if you're looking to achieve $100,000 in sales in the next couple of months, you're going to be spending between $10,000 and $20,000 on marketing. That's all marketing, all advertising, all promotion, all events. And that's what we typically see. Now, if you're hitting higher numbers like $200,000, $250,000, $300,000 a month, that 10% to 20% may be lower. We see it go as low as 5 to 10%. Okay? The other thing we want you to do after spending all this money, we want to make sure you're tracking everything you're doing. So we highly recommend using call tracking numbers on all external promotions. So any ads in the local papers, even on your digital programs, for your e-newsletters. So use call tracking numbers so you know what's working, what's not working. Where do I need to refocus dollars on my marketing plans? Okay, number 2 for best practices, a focused sales system. You need to have an organized set of protocol in how you sell aesthetic medical procedures and treatments and surgeries. Okay? We want you to start with really good quality lead capture. It's incredible. We visit so many medical spas and aesthetic medical practices, dermatology practices, plastic surgery practices throughout the country. And we typically, well, almost 100% of the time, we see that they don't have strong lead capture happening at the front desk. All right, let me stop for a second. What do I mean by lead capture? Lead capture is sort of a big word for something very simple. When somebody calls and they're interested in a procedure or a service or a surgery, before you do anything else, you need to get their name, their phone number, their email address, what they're interested in, and how they heard about your practice. Bang, lead capture. As simple as that. I would say 90% of the time, it is not happening consistently at most, if not all, practices nationwide. You are spending so much money. We just talked about spending 10 to 20%. Well, that could be upwards of $10,000 to $20,000. Every one of those leads coming in could cost you $150 to $250. What are you going to do? Say, okay, thank you, goodbye, click, without getting their name and information. What did you do right then? I know what you did. You took that $150 to $200 or $250, and you took it and you threw it right into the wastebasket. Because now you have to advertise to that person again to get them to reconnect to you. Where if you capture the lead, you put them in your system, it's pennies to communicate either by a phone call or email address. All right, so that is the very first part of a sales system that you have to put in place. Next, you need clinically supported consultation. So they capture the lead and then they convert to consultation. That's an important part of the sales system, right? When the consultation is performed, it should be performed by a non-clinical person, really a sales consultant, but it needs to be clinically supported, especially for the more involved procedures. So that sales consultant should build a relationship with the person, identify what their needs and their wants are, and then bring in a clinician, whether it be a physician, a nurse, an esthetician, to help confirm diagnosis. And then they, as a sales consultant, should continue on with that person to complete the consultation, provide pricing, overcome objections, all the things that you need to do to lead up to a close. Okay, next, follow-up. So critical. And again, we see this almost never happening in most practices. Once you've had consultations or once you've captured a lead, you need somebody, and typically it's your sales consultant, to actually provide that follow-up. What we like to, especially, is to make appointments. If a consultation doesn't close, you identify why it's not closing. Maybe they have to talk to their spouse. And then you say, let's set a time after this weekend when you have an opportunity to speak to your spouse where we can touch base again. And you actually schedule your follow-up. A couple other things, two things really, that are just critical to doing great consultations and such a key part of a sales system. Before and afters, right? Please have great before and afters. And not only have great before and afters, but have them presented very professionally, whether it be view books that you have professionally printed, or maybe on laptops or iPads, or up on your screen at your desk. Right? So that's very important. One of the very, very best selling tools that you could have. The second thing is offer consumer financing, so 0% financing. We typically say at least 12 months 0%. That's a bell ringer for consumers in the United States. So those are all the reasons why you need this great sales system, because you're going to close more sales. You're going to get more people who have needs and wants to buy your aesthetic medical procedures. Okay, best practice number 3 to boost sales and profits. Competitive wages and incentives. We find it very important for practices, whether it be a dermatology practice, a plastic surgery practice, or a med spa, to offer competitive wages and incentives. We believe you should have competitive hourly wages. We don't want you using productivity commissions to pay somebody. Okay, what do I mean by that? So don't pay somebody $10 an hour plus 30% of their production. In the world of spas, that may be a norm. In the world of med spas, well, what's a med spa? A med spa is a medical practice with the marketing name med spa to help promote it, right? And in the world of medicine, you're not going to give that type of production to an esthetician and nurse. You want to give them a really good competitive wage, and then you want to incentivize them with a sales incentive. How much? It depends, but typically it's fairly low. It's 1%, 2%, or 3%. If somebody is going to sell a $1,000 package, let's say, 1% of that is $10. 2% is $20. So if I make $28 an hour and I sell a $1,000 package that hour and I get 2%, I'm at $48 for that hour. That's a lot of incentive. That's the approach you want. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table if you go with high production commissions. Also, keep it simple. It's 2% of what you sell, or it's 1% of all aesthetic procedures or collections. Okay? So don't make these compensation packages complicated. People won't understand them. People won't have the incentive that you need for them to have in order for them to be successful, which means you're successful. Okay, number 4, repeat and referral marketing. This is the most inexpensive way for you to promote business and increase sales, thus driving more money to the bottom line. All right, let's start off by making sure you have a loyalty program in place. First off, on the loyalty programs, use your vendor loyalty programs. You know what they are and how to access them. Make sure you actively use those vendor loyalty programs, especially with injectables. But also create your own. Keep it simple. If it's complicated, the team won't use it and your clients won't use it. Give them 1 point for every X dollars sold, whether it be $1 or $10 or $100, and then allow them to redeem with those points. And don't only give them points for dollars spent, give them points for good behavior. Like us on Facebook. Hey, 10 points. Yep. Sign up or refer a friend, 100 points. Okay, so there's ways to encourage behaviors by using loyalty programs. One thing I want you to do is check with your healthcare attorney. Make sure loyalty programs in your state are completely legal. Because some states it gets a little dicey. You may or may not be able to do it. So that's very, very important. The other thing too is something simple as follow-up telephone contact. So to help develop more repeat business, when somebody goes home, within a day or two, follow up with them. Find out how their visit went and encourage them to book again. Now, why don't we get you on the schedule so that you don't miss an opportunity to be here in 2 months? Great, and you schedule them in. All right, and lastly on that, use targeted email marketing. It's an inexpensive way to reach out to your clients. Think about injectables. Okay, so you want to send an email reminder to every Botox client every 2 to 3 months. Simple as that. That's just one example, and there could be many. Number 5, impactful website. All right, what do I mean by impactful website? Well, first off, it needs to be visually appealing. When somebody clicks on a link and goes to your website, let's say, or they type in your website and get there, it has to be exciting. It has to be like, wow, where is this? What is this? And it has to draw the person in. So it has to have that visual appeal. But it also needs to be responsive. So when I'm looking at it on my desktop, I see it one way, but then I go to my iPad, I see it differently, but it's very user-friendly. And then if I go to my handheld, it's now all of a sudden buttony, so I can just click the buttons. It makes it very easy to get around that website still, things like click to call. All right, so that responsiveness is so critical for an impactful website. You also need to have an intuitive user interface. Make sure that you don't have to go 7 clicks in to get to where the user wants to be. We always say 3 clicks, no more than 3 clicks to get to where that user wants to go to find the information that they're searching for. Okay. It also must be highly optimized. The digital world is big and it's very cluttered. You need to be found. And how do you get found? Well, one thing is you want to have keywords embedded into your content. Not just keywords for conditions, treatments, procedures, sometimes even devices, technology, but also geolocator keywords. So I'll give you an example there. You may say Botox, Boston. Okay, that's one way to go find who in Boston is doing Botox. But somebody also might type in fine lines and wrinkles, Boston, right? So what's going on there? You have a condition being searched, and you want to make sure you can be found. Now you want to also take these keywords and embed them into things like title tags, header titles, alt tags, all different ways. Your web developer will know what those are, all different ways that will help optimize your website. Lastly is video. Video highly optimizes a website. Some people say video will optimize 10 times higher than traditional ways in which we optimize a website. Number 6, Google paid search campaigns. Okay, what I like about paid search campaigns, it's like running a faucet. You turn the faucet on, water comes out. You turn it on some more water comes out. When you're running a paid search campaign, you turn it on and you get leads. You turn it on more, hopefully you get more leads, okay? You want to make sure that you're aligning these campaigns with your current promotions or what you're looking to increase. Like if you want liposuction or laser lipo, you want to make sure you have a laser lipo campaign running. Or if you're looking for skin rejuvenation, you want to make sure you have a skin rejuvenation campaign running. You also want to test the spend. If you spend $1,000 and you generate 20 leads, well, if you spend $1,500, will you generate 30 leads? The other question is that you have to ask yourself and monitor very closely is the quality of the leads. You want to make sure that these leads are converting to consultations and are translating into more dollars spent by the patients. So always test it. Make sure you're getting quality leads. Always be consistent with the campaigns month over month over month and align the campaigns oftentimes with your current promotions. Number 7, frequent e-newsletters. Okay, this is one of the most easy ways to communicate your message and increase not only your patient base but your patient spend. Okay, we typically recommend at a minimum to do 2 newsletters per month with 2 resends to the people that didn't open the newsletter the first time you send it. Okay, so a newsletter should have all different types of information, and it should actually point to your entire digital footprint. You may have a Facebook post discussed in the newsletter and you click on it and it goes to your Facebook. You may have a blog post discussed, the first paragraph of the blog post. Click on it, it goes to your blog. You may have a set of before and afters. Click on it, it goes to the before and afters on your website. That's an e-newsletter with all different articles, lots of information. All right, then you have e-ads, we call them. One focused thing, maybe it's an event coming up, and you have an ad designed in a JPEG format that you send out via your email campaign system. Click on it, it takes you right to your website where you're trying to get people to sign up for the event. So there's the 2 methods to communicate with e-newsletters, and that's the newsletter itself and also the e-ads. Number 8, online news releases. Okay, this is what I call magic fairy dust, because when you send out one of these online news releases, it gets blasted out into the system. You do an associate press level e-newsletter, and it gets picked up sometimes in 100 to 150 different places online, all pointing back to your website. Now, when you send out a news release, it has to be news. You can't be sending out a set of promotions. These are promotions for the month of August. It's not going to cut it. They're not going to let you send that out. It has to be something like an event that you're going to be holding, a new procedure or service, a new staff member on your team. Right? At a minimum, we want you to send 6 per year, at least 1 every other month, as long as you have the news. No news, don't send it. Typically, we usually see more than 6 per year that could be sent out. And the amount of online visibility and the optimization or the optimizing of your website, because it's all pointed back there, is amazing and is really worth how much these cost. Number 9, educational seminars. Okay, these are powerful events. Essentially, it's like a big group consultation. You bring in 10 people, 20, 30, 40, 50 sometimes, that come together to hear about a new procedure, service, or just a general overview of your practice. You do a PowerPoint presentation. It's great if the doctor will do this, but if the sales consultant or the manager of the practice performs these, the doctor should be there for Q&A or at least to say hello. Make sure you have live testimonials. Very impactful. You put up the before picture on the screen, and then you ask the person in the audience to stand up and show the after. Maybe it's liposuction, maybe it's they lift their shirt and they show their belly that's not there, that's up on the screen, or it's like a halo, Cyton halo procedure where they have a lot of blotchiness, reds and browns up on the screen, but they look like they're clear and smooth and much younger in person. Live testimonials, you gotta love those. Make sure you have a Q&A at the end so the audience has an opportunity to ask questions. And the physician, the nurses, the sales consultant can answer. Or maybe some of the live testimonial participants can answer those questions also. Ooh, was it painful? No, not at all. And I really wasn't out of work very long, only 1 or 2 days. That's great when those participants actually get involved in the Q&A. You want to have a set of event-only specials. You want to entice people to book consultations that evening. As long as they book the consultation that night, hold the consultation within the next 10 days, they can receive the event-only special. So those specials have that incentive to get the consultation booked, and make sure you're ready to be booking those consultations. These are very effective and very successful. Even if you only have 8 to 10 people, you'll be amazed at how much more you will sell and how great the good word of your practice and everything you do gets out there. And finally, number 10, social media strategy. It is so critical to have a strategy behind how you're communicating your message through social media. Look, don't leave it up to your children. Don't leave it up to your front desk. Social media has become an important element of every marketing program for every type of company, especially in aesthetic medical practice. It's interesting. Social media can become a way to continue the conversation. You know how you always have conversations with your patients and your clients about the wedding coming up or that vacation they went on. Well, you could take that conversation and continue with it outside of the practice. Now, be careful. You want to be HIPAA compliant on your social media. If you have a healthcare attorney and you have any thoughts or questions on making sure you're HIPAA compliant, check with them, okay? But you really want to be able to leverage your social media. You want to grow the audience, so you're looking to always increase the number of likes on Facebook, the number of people that follow you on Twitter and Instagram. You want to have effective communication, engagement. You don't want to just be speaking to your audience. You want your audience to participate in the conversation. That's very important because social media is all about social sharing, okay? And finally, and now this has become very important, leverage your social presence through advertising. Right now, the platform to best do that is Facebook. There are ways to promote a page, to promote a post, to promote your website. It is very, very inexpensive to really create a lot of visibility for your practice, whether it be a med spa, cosmetic practice, plastic surgery practice, or dermatology practice.
Thank you for watching the top 10 business boosting strategies for your aesthetic medical practice. And I hope you enjoyed learning some of the important and practical ways to boost and grow your practice. Be sure to take the time to watch the other 3 segments of this top 10 webinar series by visiting aestheticbusinessinstitute.org. Take care.